One of the things that's neat about rhythm and percussion drumming is that the sweet spot is 85 beats per minute. There's been a lot of research that shows that when you're playing the 85 beats per minute rhythms, that you're really starting to synchronize the actual heart. If you look at a football game or something where they're trying to hype up the energy of a crowd, they'll play something very high beats per minute, and they'll start pumping that through the stadium. And the same thing in movies. You'll see someone put on really slow, sad, different music to pull you into an emotional state. If you are observing this and the reality around you constantly, whether it's advertisements, fighting for your attention, or all of this, right? Why can't you now view your health journey, your healing journey, with a soundtrack as well?
In today's busy world, how can we find the inspiration, knowledge, and energy to live a healthy and empowered life? If we balance and harmonize our mind, exercise our body, live according to the laws of nature, and connect to spirit, can we find a way to heal, become our authentic self, and live our purpose with love? I am your hostess, Amy Fournier, and welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite. Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. This show is about helping you to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit, as well as harmonize your masculine and feminine energy, tap into your intuition, your true source of power, and awaken your authentic self. My friends, if you are subscribers to this show, then you have heard me talk about how food and water and light and color and shape and numbers and sound are all forms of information and even instructions for all the cells in our body, as well as for all the things in the world, if not the universe, if not the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the ionosphere, all of it. These are all types of energy frequencies that transmit and communicate information. I know it's probably easy for us to understand how certain types of foods affect us differently energetically, right? Like a carbohydrate is affecting us differently than, say, a fat. You know, vitamin C does different things in our cells than, say, iron or protein, right? But it's really important to understand that other types of energy, such as the color yellow, the color green, the electromagnetic rays, and the frequency of red, infrared light is much different to our cells than the frequency of blue light from computers. Just like shape, the shape of a cup is different type of frequency than the shape of a plate. So all these types of energies are affecting us all the time, whether aware of them or not. And that's why I'm so thrilled to have my guest, Ian Morris, join us again on the show. Ian Morris is a truly unique genius. He is a sound alchemist. Isn't that cool? He has quite a story, and I suggest that you check out his first appearance on Awakening Aphrodite, episode 73, which was just such a fascinating episode. It was when I was first getting to know Ian, and we talk about your personal soundtrack for self-care and restoring balance and getting harmonized with the transformative power of sound, frequency, and music. And that was episode 73. So it's a nice foundation to understand a lot of what I just said. And it gives in-depth about Ian's personal story, his struggles. He had cancer. He was over 300 pounds. He had a lot of emotional issues. He had just, like all of us, so many issues that he was struggling with, real life challenges. And wow, look at him now. He's just, affecting so many lives, so many countless thousands of lives with his healing frequency music. And I am a huge fan. His company is called Listening to Smile because it makes people smile when they listen to it. And you might be kind of hip to this whole sound healing, sound therapy, sound baths, using drums and rattles and bionic beats and Even just listening to the flute or the piano or classical music, and how beneficial it all is. But let me tell you, this is truly different, and I guess you just have to experience it. I listen to it almost every day, and we talk a lot about what Ian offers in this episode. So just stay tuned for that. I'll save it for that. I do offer some of my discount coupon codes because I have his company on my website, like I do a lot of the products that I use myself all the time, and I want to share with you guys because I believe in them. They've affected my life for the better, and that's why I want to share them. I'm happy to share these people with you. And again, you can usually save some money too. Usually they are kind enough to extend discount codes to you guys for us. So we talk about that in the episode, but we also talk about a lot of really interesting things. Not only a little bit more about Ian's personal story, which is very inspiring, but we talk about what he means by frequency-minded music and how listening to smell is unique. We talk about inspiration and feeling gratitude and how important those two things are. How the struggle and challenges in life can be turned around and alchematized, and turning them into powerful lessons that make us only stronger, and how it's basically a compliment when life throws a lot of crap at you, because it basically means that Grid Spirit thinks a lot of your potential, that you can handle it. And we talk about the polarities of sorrow and joy, and how we can't have one truly without the other, and frequency-minded music, and the effects of noise pollution in today's modern age, and how very real it is, and that it's affecting you negatively, whether you're even aware of it or not. We talk about how different instruments do special things and have different effects on the body. And Ian drops a beautiful pearl of wisdom with us, and he shares his thoughts on how poetry, music, and art are really the vital tools of inspiration and cultivating intuition in us. And lastly, we talk about being an objective observer in life, and how that is really an important skill to cultivate, to be able to navigate particularly choppy waters skillfully, becoming an objective observer. So this show is really interesting. I think it might change the way you look at sound, or at least you experience sound. And I love sharing this tool with you because it's a beautiful healing modality, particularly to help decrease stress, balance your body, get you out of pain, open you up to higher frequencies of feeling joy and love and gratitude. And again, I use it every day. Don't forget to use my code FitAmyTV at checkout if you want to save 30% on a digital album. And you can even take it one step further and sign up for their annual membership, where you get an album per month, in addition to a lot of supportive materials and inspirational videos and stuff, Zoom calls. It's just a really great community. Anyway, enjoy. I'd love to know what you think about it. And if you want to support me, the best way to do so is to subscribe, share the show, and take it to the next level by leaving a review. I would just so appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for listening and being with me today. Let's now join Ian Morris. And welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. Today, my guest is Ian Morris, my friend, repeat guest, and he actually plays, since the last we counted, 26 instruments. Ian, is that still current?
Yeah. Yeah.
You mean no more? You probably ran out of instruments to play. Are there more than 26 in the world?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's more. Yeah. It's definitely just exploration. Every time you get to see something new and get to play with it, it's a lot of fun.
Do you know how to play? Is it what's it called? The didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo.
I have a few
Those
didgeridoos. Cool. Yeah, they're fun. They're really cool. It takes a little getting used to first start playing them as far as the breath, but it's really fun, and they're such a unique instrument too.
Yeah.
The way they sound
is powerful. All shamans have them, and people will know that sound if they heard it, and they're huge, right?
Yeah. they can be 7-8 feet long, some
Mhm.
of them, 5-6 feet, but yeah, they're big.
Of course you play that. That's like a given, huh? Well,
Yeah.
as I mentioned in the introduction, you were previously on the show, episode 73, which was just such a fantastic foundation. So if this is everybody's first exposure to you, I will direct them back over to 73 as well, circle back, because we talked a lot about sound frequencies and sound in general and all your instruments and all that. I talked about how I've been playing the flute, and drums was my first. I played the piano when I was a kid. I've always been a passionate music lover, musically inclined. I was an athlete, so, but the rhythm of it was always powerful for me. And then when I kind of parlayed that as I got older into being a dance instructor, I was able to combine the athleticism with the music, which I always loved, because I actually wanted to be a DJ for a while. That's how much I love music.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And of course, again, I played instruments. So this is just right up my alley. And I'm looking, if everybody's watching on Awakening Aphrodite podcast, Fit Amy TV on YouTube, you can see Ian's bookshelves behind him. And I can't help but notice I've got like all the books like you have. I see
Yeah.
Sacred Sounds, Animal Speak, Ted Andrews. I can't quite see all of them, but I'm
Mhm.
cracking up because you look like you have as many books as I do.
Yeah,
So funny.
this is actually Brittany's and our library have, come together. But it's just been really neat because a lot of these books were, inspiration listening to Paul Chek all these years. He, like, every time you listen, he's giving you a new book
Yeah. Yeah.
to buy, and he's just expanding the mind. But yeah, there's a lot of sound healing books, a lot of metaphysical books, and
Mhm.
there's even some poetry books in here, and plant medicine books, and books on Frank Zappa and Basquiat, and all kinds of neat characters. So yeah, it's fun.
Well, as we discussed on episode 73, I mean, you are truly a music aficionado. I mean, you were talking about like musical legacies and not only legends, but kind of really just the roots of music. Like your knowledge goes deep. So not just your ability and all that, and of course your amazing company, Listening to Smile, that creates these healing sound frequencies, but you I've proven that you truly love music because you know a lot about the history of it, which is very inspiring.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that's really neat, and maybe we can just talk about this shortly.
Mhm.
I've learned to have gratitude. Like, one of the things was, I had a person that I really looked up to in a spiritual way. They said, "Have you ever given thanks for tools that give you the ability to transfer your work into the world?" And what he was talking about was computers. And he said, when you think about the computer, do you think about the amount of people who had their hands in the programming and the evolution of the computer to this point as the tool that it is for you today?
Mhm.
And not just looking at the figureheads like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, but like looking at the individual people that, were the grunt workers and writing this code and making this a reality. And it made me really stop and think about not just that, and there was a gratitude of like, wow, that's really deep to think about, and to have more gratitude for the amount that has gone into me being able to do my craft and my work. But then thinking about all the musicians before us that inspired us and inspired, that went against civil rights movements, or went against, oppression in some way, like maybe a female being recognized as a musician or a singer, or, and you start really looking at the multitudes that have gone into all of the things that you call inspiration, and having a gratitude for that. And then I feel like it was able to help me reflect in such a way when I was channeling in this monthly music that I'm making, to have even larger amounts of gratitude, of just happiness in my heart, and being able to say, thank you for all of the amazing things and people who came before me, to be able to move into this opportunity, I guess, and being short of what you would call that, but just this fantastic opportunity to be able to um, take the culmination of all of these tools and all of these people that have had a hand in making me who I am and the work that I'm doing. So,
And that's probably why you can call yourself a sound alchemist. Because what
yes,
you're doing is, it's like, that expression, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, is that you're taking that work, and that's the act of creation, right? You're taking a work, you're combining it with your own unique imprint, and that creates something novel, totally new. And that's an
yes,
alchemist. And of course, an alchemist also turns gold from what's it, lead to, right? Like, and that's actually something I had to just practice. I just lost my little dog Charlotte, my 14.5-year-old dog, and I mentioned in that episode where I talked about it, I don't know, it was like 152 or something like that, with Amelia Kinkade. And I talked about how I was in such pain, such depth of pain. And, when you're in that depth of pain with, no way out, that you don't even know how, you're not even breathing. I could barely breathe. It hurt so much. But all I could do was pray that somehow I could make alchemy. I could somehow transmute that into something good someday, somehow. Because it
yeah,
literally, and that thought was literally the only thing that pulled me through, is just thinking, there's got to be a way. And that's what I prayed. Please help me somehow transform this and alchemize it into something good. Otherwise, my God, what the hell is all this even for,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This show is all about helping you empower yourself. And I'm so thrilled to have hooked up with my friend Ross Newkirk and his amazing company, Conscious Technologies, because they produce things that help us do just that. Ross, can you share with us some of the feedback you're getting on the core harmonizer that helps people combat stress?
They say that about 90% of hospital visits are stress related. If we can start to remove stress from our lives, we can start to connect to our true self. We were doing a core harmonizer meditation a little while back, and there was maybe 30 people in the room. And after the meditation, a woman came up to me and she said, what's in that thing? She didn't know anything about the core harmonizer before she had come to the meditation, and she's moving her back around as she's talking. And she said, I almost didn't come today because my back was throbbing, she said, after a walk on the beach. And she almost didn't come. And she said, it's totally gone. And I told her, I said, well, you actually did that. We provided the coherent space. The core harmonizer creates the coherence through the light, music, and nested sacred geometries. But you actually did that yourself. So this technology is really self-empowering. My father, Mark Newkirk, who was a world-class scientist, said that these technologies were really designed as a set of training wheels, because the most amazing piece of technology exists within each one of us. And this is able to help facilitate that remembering, if you will.
I'm just so grateful to you and your team, Ross. Check out more in episode 105. You can get yours at a special discount on my website under the recommended products page. Just enter the code FITAMYTV10 and you save 10%. Thanks, Ross.
My sickness that I went through and the transition of all that, I feel in a very similar way. And so I totally resonate with what you're saying, because I think it's almost, you feel justified in the lessons that you learn through these hard experiences, loss, grieving, pain. And then you see the growth and the evolution of the spirit, and how we're all going to be there one day, just as your animal passed, we're going to pass. And our life work and mission, I think it makes us focus harder on while we're here, like what we're supposed to be doing, what we're leaving behind, the effects we're here to create on this perceived reality plane. And yeah, and I think like it's neat to, in hindsight, look at these really challenging experiences a few months or a few years down the line and look at the growth and the evolution of our soul that took place. And these, I lost my father, and it was something that was really hard. And I lost my sister. She was 21. She passed away in a car wreck. And I look and I oftentimes think, like, what would they be doing now if they were
Yeah.
here? And you think
Mm-hmm.
and you reflect that way. But I
Mm-hmm.
also see the loss and grieving period that I went through with them also gave me a reflection and growth of my soul that was just, I don't think it's ever happened in a different way, from those two experiences. And so, yeah, I think it's tough and it's challenging and it's hard, but I also think everything that happens to us is ultimately happening for us. If that's might be too of a woo woo way to look at it, but I think in the end we do see that these things that were hard or challenging or grieving or losses or painful end up being to this huge empowerment to our soul to do some of more of our life's mission or work in an even deeper and more powerful way.
And I'll add to that that's spoken from someone who's on the other side of it. So
Yes.
anybody who's listening or watching to this, if you're in it, you're just going to be like, oh, F that, and whatever. Like, you have to, again, and I know exactly what you're saying, because I've been on, through the whole cycle as well, and on the other side of it. And it is true. It is definitely true. It always reminds me of something I'll never forget from one of my mentors, Dr. Ibrahim Karim of biogeometry. One of the things that he had taught us students, so many things, but that one that really struck me is, and again, I'm totally paraphrasing, but the way I remembered it is he said, when you're going through something that's just gut-wrenchingly painful and horrible and, heartbreaking or whatever, bad, okay, the deeper the worse it is perceived by you, or the more it hurts, or however you want to think of it, the worse it is, right? Is you have to think of that as almost like a compliment from Great Spirit, God, Creator, whatever you want to, Goddess, whatever you want to call Source, that they think that much of you, that you have that much potential, that they're giving you that burden. It's almost like a coach pushing an elite athlete much harder than the others and being hardest on the best player because they expect more of them, because they have it in them to do it, whereas they wouldn't ask that of those players that just didn't have the skill. It wouldn't be fair,
Yeah.
So again, totally paraphrasing, but that always struck me, like, again, when I'm going through these absolutely gut-wrenching things of like, okay, Great Spirit thinks a lot of me because I can't do this, but hopefully that'll help people.
Yeah, and I hope that people understand that I'm not trying to be insensitive in the moment, that I am always ongoing into new areas of struggle. And I think as we've gone through our life struggles and we hit these different multitudes of depths and these processes, we learn to navigate and to feel into the power of those lessons, and not to take them away from the moment of grieving and the pain and the struggles that we're all going through. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that event for me helped me frame in the future, when these new things come in, to be able to look back in hindsight and to see, even though they're not here, the mark they left in the world and the mark they left on me and the strength that I come from. My family has been through a lot of different things, and I watch them and just am in awe of the strength that they represent. And I think that it gives me more hope and more resilience, to push forward into these things. And I think the more that we're able to get that hindsight, those getting through the other side of each of these instances, we get stronger, and we get kind of like, oh, that's all you got, let's keep going.
Yeah, right.
Let's
Yeah.
keep going,
Bring it on.
and yeah, bring it on. And we keep going. And it's kind of like what you're saying from the biogeometry is, there's a reason that we have chosen these challenges, right? A lot of people believe that we have chosen each of these challenges that came through for the evolution of our soul, or it's an agreement with another soul to go through these processes. And I think it's just really, um, I guess on speaking on your thing, not to speak out of place, but I mean, 14 years you said, right, with your animal. It's like
14 and a half.
what an amazing time span to be able to spend with another soul in that kind of capacity. It's got to be truly amazing. So I
Like
am
a
sorry.
child. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
child. I mean, think of having a 14 and a half year old kid and losing your kid.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I am sorry for your loss, but I
Thank
am
you.
so happy for you that you had that lifespan with that soul. That's pretty amazing too.
Thank you, Ian. And
Yeah,
like you and your loss with your sister, the horrible, tragic thing. She died so young, and then of course your dad and everyone listening and watching, again, I'll refer to that episode recently with Amelia Kinkade, because in the beginning I actually read a poem from Khalil Gibran. I'm sure you know of him, the
yes.
Sufi poet. And he talked about joy and sorrow, and how the depth of your sorrow determines the depth of your joy. The same cup holds both. So they're inseparable, they go together. And that's another thing I always think of when I'm in deep, deep pain. And it's true, because what you said, Ian, is so true about my Charlotte, the 14-and-a-half-year-old dog. That dog, that I used to say she was like my heart with fur on it, but I loved her so much. I literally felt like my heart was going to burst out of my shirt. Like it just, I could feel my heart getting bigger, enlarging. Enlarging, is that a word? Getting whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so real. So the love that I received from her because of her was only matched by the absolutely soul crushing agony when I lost her.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said in my social media, I'll do it again every time. Like in spite of that, because I just did, I got another dog, and people say, I don't know how you do it. I can't, it's too pain. And I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. But the flip side is the joy she gave me, the laughter. I mean, nothing can make you laugh more than like a puppy or a kid, but that's the trade-off in life, right? It's like falling in love with a soulmate or a partner. It's like you want to just like, smack them across the head sometimes, but at the same time, it's like the depth of your intimacy can't be matched any other way than to also go there with, the fear and the anger. And it's just the flip side,
Yeah, I remember Paul Chek talking to me about relationships, and he was saying that there's a real polarity flip. That if you have this deep, deep, intensive love, that the downfall can be that the polarity can shift and flip, and that just as strong and intense as that was in the love, it could be in this very aggressive, confrontational type of interactions if you're not conscious of what is taking place. And I think it's very true. I think it's the people who are fortunate enough to be in a conscious relationship where people can call out their own egos and call out their own traumas and triggers, and be able to have a partner who discusses that with you and like works through that and is willing to unpack, even if it's not their stuff, because they know it's for the better fulfillment of that relationship. I think it's really rare, and it's an amazing thing, but it's a really rare thing, that shift of polarity that Paul was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
yeah.
like, it's like the lovers quarrel, and they have they're throwing the pots and pans and screaming and slamming doors, and then they have makeup sex, like on the kitchen floor, like stuff flying everywhere. It's like that, or that
Yeah.
passionate, and that kind of sometimes goes together. And sometimes some relationships, that's really the glue, that's it. But it's that intensity of emotion, I think, good or bad, that all of us are looking for. We're all looking to feel something. I think that's why we do everything that we do, and why we want what we want, because we think we're going to feel a certain way. when I get that car, I'm going to feel a certain way. When I get that job, when I date that person, when I lose that weight, pick it, right? And that's why I
Yeah.
always say to people, instead of making a to-do list, make a to-feel list. How is it that you want to feel in your life, you know?
Yeah.
And then be consciously aware of things that do make you feel that way and lean into them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make a feelings list.
Yeah, that how I want a to feel list rather than just a
To
to do
feel
list.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say too, bring it back to the work. Okay, so I just went through another situation with my recent puppy, and you know this because I had trouble getting you on the show because of my schedule got blown out of the water because my little puppy was in critical care. I think he's going to be okay, but it was horrible. Needless to say, I didn't have him in my house for 3 days because he was in the hospital. And you know what I did? I after I peeled myself off the floor, I put on your music. I put on Listening to Smile. No word
Oh,
of a
cool.
lie. I had to. And that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to share with you and the audience that, and this is one of the many reasons I wanted you back on the show, because your company, your work, your offerings have expanded so much more even than when you started. And I don't know exactly when you're on the show, maybe a year or two ago now, but people have to understand the things that I share, both on my show, my website, social media, whatever, are things that mean something to me and that work for me and change my life, hopefully for the better. Otherwise I wouldn't be sharing them. And I certainly
Yeah.
wouldn't have them on my website, and I certainly wouldn't have them on my show. So
Yes.
what I'm getting at is, it's I'm deeply passionate about your work, and because it has literally changed my life, and in many ways it saved me. This example with my puppy, I mean, I just lost Charlotte 4.5 weeks ago, and then there was a chance I was going to lose this dog too, and it was too much. It was too
Yeah.
much. It was too
Yeah.
much. I was right on that edge of going literally crazy, and I did. I put on your music because it was all I could do, and I just let it kind of go through me. Just, I guess the message I want to get across to people is that there are so many tools available to us that can help us when we need it. And they don't involve drugs all the time, having a drink or whatever, binging on Netflix or overeating, for that serotonin, dopamine, eating too much ice cream or whatever. There's other things we can do. And it's so helpful to know, what else can I do when I'm hurting? What are my options? What are my tools? And listening to Smile and your music is one of them. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the music I developed with Listening to Smile, I coined frequency minded music.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means is basically I'm using an enhanced binaural beat and then what I call frequency pure tones and in conjunction with mindfulness techniques. So what we're asking the listener to do is to be fully considered in an environment that is peaceful, that we recommend headphones. They can use speakers, but headphones are definitely recommended. And then people are utilizing breath work, intention setting, and meditation in some form or fashion while they're listening. And so for each person's focus and requirements, that'll be different. So like we do what we call personal frequency coaching, but then we also have albums that people can do free listens, with the music as well. And so with frequency minded music, what I think makes our music different is that every month we have a new album with our member program that's in line with the Vedic astrology, which really is dialing in these frequencies to the moment. And then also that the LTS method, which is the post-production mixing and mastering of the music, is very unique and different. So a lot of people will say, like, your music just sounds really different from other music that I listen to. And I believe it's this LTS method, the way that we mix and master it. And that's just, it has a lot to do with the imaging and how we're creating the tones in their presentation in the speakers and headphones. And so I feel like it's really powerful in that there's new music every month, so people have constantly new things to work with. And inside of those downloads, they get focused intentions of the music, they get the astrology information, they get some videos that they can watch and go deeper with more of the intentionality of the music. So I just feel like it's something that's really missing in today's society, is a connection to the people who are creating the music, information, and you know, kind of a seeing behind the veil of the process to let people into a more intimate setting with the music, so that I believe that this facilitates a deeper connection between the listener and the creators of the music. And I feel that it also creates a synergy energetically between those two, you know, groups of people. And so I feel like that's the real difference of our music. And we're working really hard to keep that personality and that personal interrelationship between the listener and the artist active as long as we possibly can in this AI driven world that is arising, you know. So yeah, so that's what I think is what really makes this unique and special.
Yes, and so much more. And I just want to like highlight, underline, double in red how what you said about people. I just really hope people watching and listening just at least buy one album, and they're not expensive. Okay, so they can use my code FitAmyTV to check out, save 30%. It's a digital album. You buy it, it gets downloaded immediately to your computer. You can put it right on your phone, plug in those headphones, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day minimum, and you're going to experience how this is different, everybody. And trust me, I've been teaching yoga for what, almost 30 years now. I know a lot of music. I know all about, you know, the binaural beats and, you know, the chakra tones and all that. It's all beautiful, and I've got all that too. But this is really different, and this music has it's just I struggle to know how to explain it. It's like you can just tell there's more depth to it. It's going in different places. And to clarify for people, so there's really two main ways you can get Ian's music for yourself, for healing modality, and to help balance your life and help you manage stress. So you can buy an individual album, and their albums are tailored towards specific, what would you call them, Ian? Like, not goals, but specific need, target. Yeah, like pain management, chakra balancing, you know, celestial tone, movement. Okay, yeah. So like just pick, so like I've got the pain management, I got the relaxation, I got the I don't know, I got the chakra balance. I love the shaman ones. Shaman 1 and 2 are great. I use those when I paint. So you can buy a specific album targeted towards something that you're looking to bring into your life. And again, you can save 30%. And or you can also join the annual membership, which is just like, you know, Costco, Amazon, Netflix, any other, Spotify, annual membership, where you automatically get an album a month sent to your email. You just boop, download it. And guys, like Ian said, this is music that is, if the right word is, aligned with the astrological movements in the sky, in the atmosphere at that particular month. So if you're listening to this in your ears, even subconsciously, during the month of March, you're already getting your whole biochemistry in sync, coherent with the planetary system, the solar system, and all you have to do is put it in your ears. You don't even have to understand what the hell's happening. It's like, how does my TV work? I don't know, but I can still watch it. you know, so so am I getting that right? So this is what people have to understand. You can do the monthly thing, fine. You can do individual albums, fine. But I just really hope people try it, because it's a tremendously powerful and very cost-effective healing tool.
Yeah. And we're here in the next couple weeks, we're getting ready to release our personal frequency music handbook. So it's so basically this is going to have an explanation to talk about what is frequency minded music, what is a chakra, what is the chakra frequencies. It basically goes through the entire frequently asked questions that we've had with the music, and then also even down to the practitioners wanting to share information with their clients. We put it all into a handbook that we're going to be able to release that people can purchase, and it would be something that would accompany the music as well as the program, hosting and facilitating the program. So it's something that's coming out here in the next 2 weeks. It'll be released, and so I'm excited.
You
Yeah.
guys are always up to something, I'll tell you. And this, everybody, this is about quality of life stuff too. And again, having tools to help you manage your life, that are good for you, that aren't destructive. And I think it might be helpful, Ian, for you to share with us your knowledge about sound therapy and sound in general, because I don't think people understand that. And a lot of this I learned, I'll add to everybody, because of my membership with you. Like Ian said, you guys send supportive materials. Like my email, I get a couple of emails from you guys a week on awesome YouTube videos on sound, on frequency, that I can play while I'm cooking dinner, and I'm learning so much. And that's like, hell yeah, this is amazing. I love it
Cool.
so much, because your company is so holistically minded. Plus, it's quality. I guess what I'm saying too is that the stuff, like, you're not sending us junk emails. Like, I love the videos you're sending, like the one on sound and talking about acoustic ecology and how there's do you want to just talk to us more about what acoustic ecology is? And please talk about how the effects of sound in our urban lifestyle, the noise of your city, is affecting you adversely, even if you're not aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's really interesting is the pet therapy album that we have.
I got it.
The comments that we get is when people put that on in a city that has like windows and exposure to like sound pollution, noise pollution. When they put that on in the house, what it does is it creates a barrier where they don't notice the outside sound as much. And they said that their animals are not barking as much because they're more calm, and it's like it creates a barrier from that noise pollution. So a lot of people that have the pet therapy album are actually putting that on while they're going to work, and they're leaving their animals at home while they're gone, and the animal would bark at the delivery people and all of that. And it was a way that created a peaceful tone for the animal to rest with, and it also created a barrier from that pollution of noise that would keep them so agitated and always wanting to know what was going on out there. And now they're like being able to sleep and rest and to be more peaceful. So in cities that are larger, millions of people, there's a lot of noise pollution that's created. And the same type of effect that the animals are experiencing, people are starting to notice. Like, they will put this music on to sleep to, or they will put this music on during their times of peace, and it really blocks out a lot of that noise pollution that comes through the windows when you live in a large city and everyone's on top of each other. And so the other thing is too, is like you were talking about earlier, the amount of Wi-Fi and signals that are going through. There's a lot of companies, like there's a company called Aries Tech. I know Paul and some other people have used them. So we're talking to them about doing a partnership for people that have like wireless headphones and want to use our music, where they can put just a little, EMF button protection on the headphones and utilize that. But basically, when you're in so much signal, it's just really important to take time that these sound frequencies can help your body organs and nervous system find a balance point again when there's so much noise and chaos going on. So it's really important to take time just for pause. But inside of the pause, if you're in a chaotic environment of lots of Wi-Fi signals, or even the noise pollution, it's really important that pause has some sort of elevating property, whether that's breath work or deep meditation. And a lot of times with that noise pollution, it's awesome to have like noise canceling headphones with music that's playing frequencies that can help you block that out on an even deeper level and really tune in to your body's, feedback and messaging system. And so like when you're in meditation and you're really tuned in and dialed in, I feel like utilizing frequency minded music, I feel like your intuition is more amplified, your awareness is more amplified. so it's that you're able to listen to these messages from your body in a different way, because you're blocking out the other signals that are fighting for your body's attention every day, you know?
So well said. And I will underscore that, again, this is happening whether you're consciously aware of it or not. And I
Yeah.
think people don't realize how much background noise we're exposed to. They just, because they're not consciously hearing it anymore. I mean, when was the last time you literally had complete silence? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just,
Mm.
I'm trying to emphasize I mean, I know sometimes, well, again, I'll just use that recent thing where I was just so emotionally overwhelmed. I just had it dead quiet for a little while, like, I don't know, maybe about 25, 30 minutes, because I just needed to go in that liminal space of nothingness, nothingness. And then I used your music, as you said, to help reprogram my cells back onto the frequency that I was trying to pick up to pull me out of where I was. And you mentioned, every one of our organs has a unique frequency. It's like the scales of a piano, or the notes of the scale. What's it? The pentatonic scale.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
Oh,
call
I
it.
don't know which one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know you know all of them, but there was one I was reading about, and how there's 7 in one culture and 5, and I don't know what the hell. But my point is that everything is on its own unique frequency. It's like a vitamin. Vitamin D does certain things. Vitamin C does other things. The notes on a scale and the organs in your body and the cells in your body, they all are on unique frequencies that we can utilize to our advantage when people like you know what they are, to help create more of what we want. It's very powerful, and it's so
Yeah.
simple. We just got to turn it on. Like, you did all the hard work for us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think one thing that, just while we're on this, is there have been studies and research. You can look it up through Google and other, search platforms, but they took the frequency, they figured out the frequency of penicillin, and they played penicillin into individuals that needed penicillin to see if the effects would be there just by playing the frequency. And they
That's
were
crazy.
showing,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
they were,
Wow.
yes, and they were showing that this, and so there's a lot of machines out there now, like the scalar energy machines will do body scans on people and let them know where they're having lower levels of different frequencies or energies in their body, and then they'll play these frequencies that could be of an herbal frequency or a vitamin frequency, or just different frequencies that help bring the body into alignment. And there's so much technology out there now with frequency, that it's really hard to debate that frequency is not the medicine of the future. It's really moving in that direction. And so it's just going to be really cool when all visual artists and musicians and writers really get in alignment of being more conscious of their creations and what frequencies they're creating those outputs with.
The power. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and what's
yeah.
funny is we're really returning to it, right? Because this is what the ancients
Yes.
knew. I mean, look at,
Yes.
the Greeks, and of course the ancient Egyptians. They all used the power of sound, and doctors back in the day of ancient times would prescribe certain instruments for people to listen to. Like, what was it? The lute was what people were supposed to listen to
Yeah.
if they were depressed, because it was on a certain frequency. I mean, that's
Mhm.
nuts. Can you imagine going to the doctor and then being like, okay, you need to go listen to like drumming? Because I also read that drumming, maybe you can confirm this, that when you're listening to the drum, you will not be in your left brain. Like, you immediately go right into your right brain.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's neat about rhythm and percussion drumming is that the sweet spot is 85 beats per minute. So there's been a lot of research that shows that when you're playing the 85 beats per minute, rhythms, that you're really starting to synchronize the actual heart. The heart of a person's being can be affected by rhythm. And so what I mean by this is, if you look at a football game, or a baseball game or something where they're trying to hype up the energy of a crowd, they'll play something very high beats per
Yes.
minute. Dun, 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 and they'll start pumping that through the stadium, and they want to enhance people and get their heart rate up, get them standing up, cheering, getting excited.
So
and
true.
then the same thing in movies, like you'll see someone put
Totally.
on really slow, sad, different music to pull you into an emotional state, to embrace the feelings or the moods of the scene of the movie that they're creating. So, what I try to tell people is, if you are observing this and the reality around you constantly on a daily basis, whether it's advertisements fighting for your attention and they're using music to get your attention, or all of this, right? So why can't you now view your health journey, your healing journey, with a soundtrack as well? Something that is specifically created for you, the target focus you're going for, and with the frequencies of the organs or the chakra systems or whatever that you're targeting. It's the exact same thing, something that's happening all around you on a daily basis. It's not something that's crazy. It's happening all around you every day,
whether you know it or not. So yes, so you might as well use it to your advantage. That's, I guess, what we're getting at, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. And to your point, I mean, look at even going to war, the drum in battle, the marching soldiers to a drum, and the Native Americans with the drumming, and get everybody pumped up for a ceremony prior to going to battle. And I mean, all ancient cultures used sound and chanting, and whether it be singing, chanting, instruments, and like we mentioned, the ancient Egyptians, they used vowels in particular, and like the Great Pyramid in Egypt, in the King's Chamber, they know that certain vowel sounds actually, like, they're saying transported people across time and space dimensions. Like, powerful, crazy stuff just by sound. I mean,
yes,
it's amazing. I just love your comment about how we're kind of getting back to that, because we think we're so fancy and advanced, and it's like they had it all over us, and we're not doing any of that. And it's right there, the power of your own voice. And one of the videos you guys sent in the monthly membership showed that young man who was blind at 13 because he got some eye disorder, and he now navigates and rides a bike, and he can draw his environment. He's totally blind, but he can do it by sound. He projects the sound through his mouth, and because a clicking, and because of the reverberation back to him in his ears, he can visualize in his head what he would be seeing if he had sight. And he draws pictures, and they're exactly what's in front of him, and the guy's blind, and he rides a bike. It's crazy. I mean, this is with sound, everybody. So we don't know what our potential is. I mean, back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show. Like, this is all about, we are so much more than we know we are. Our capabilities are so much more. Like, damn it, we gotta be all we can be, and I just feel like, again, that's why I'm passionate about you and your work, and I love being a part of it, because I feel like it's an awesome tool to help us do that.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support, and it's just such a humbling experience to be able to come out of something so traumatic and be able to have it help me and family and friends, and then be able to work with clients and to see the evolution of the people working with the music. It's just such a blessing to be a part of.
I know we reviewed that on episode 73 that I hope everybody goes and checks out, but do you want to just quickly give a brief synopsis to what you're referring to for the people just tuning in? What happened?
2011, 2012, I was diagnosed with colon cancer and MS, and just went through some really dark nights of the soul at times, and just went through a lot. I was a musician that did not have health insurance at that time, and I just found myself in pretty hopeless states. And so I was really lucky. I came across the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and The Healing Power of Sound by Dr. Mitchell Gaynor. And those books really made me dive 100%, headfirst into the holistic approach, and started really learning more about mindfulness and learning more about sound and experimenting. I had about 2 years prior to that got into sound healing and frequencies, but this really made me kind of jump off the cliff and really explore this in a way. So the last, 10, 12 years has just been such a experience of exploration and learning about myself and experiences with life through frequency and vibration. And it's just been something that helped me get cancer free. I worked with my mom that had breast cancer and lymph node cancer, and we got her cancer free. We used, binaural beats, singing bowls. We did a lot of breath work and meditation. Yeah, so it's
And
just
you
something
lost a
that,
ton of weight too. You were you like
yeah,
you
I was about 320 pounds.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I lost a tremendous amount of weight. Here recently, I've been going through a different diet and different exercise plan. So I'm starting to put on some muscle, gain a little bit more weight, but it's,
The good weight.
it's, yeah, the good weight.
Yeah.
So
Muscle
it's
weight.
been, yeah, it's been good. Yeah, working out about 4 or 5 times a day. It's just been, I mean, sorry, four, 4 or 5 times a week. And really just, it's helped me shift perspectives around food. It's helped me shift perspectives around physical health and just kind of the process. Like, you can have as much money as you want in the world, but if you don't have your health, and I'll tell you, just to say this to conclude, that I saw a reel the other day where there was a guy, don't know his name, was saying to this man and woman on a call. He said, if I gave you $1 million today, would that help you not complain as much with people in your life? Do you think that would make you happy? And they were like, oh yeah, it would make us real happy. And then he goes, okay, so if I gave you $10 million and told you that you could not wake up tomorrow, would you take this $10 million?
Wow.
And they said no, we wouldn't. And he said, okay, so what you're telling me is that waking up tomorrow is worth more than $10 million. And he said, so act like it. Use the day according to that value, right?
That's
And so I thought
great.
that was like a really amazing, yeah, it was a really amazing thing for us to have appreciation and
Gotcha.
gratitude for things that we often, yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's really neat. Yeah.
That's great. I love that little saying. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show. Just jumping in here to share with you something that I use all the time that I love so much. It's this beautiful skin salve by this company called Sebe and Solus. It's gorgeous. It's a saffron skin salve, and saffron is an ancient Persian beauty remedy that they use all the time. And I love it so much because it hydrates and nourishes my skin, but it's not greasy. I put it in my hair, I put it on my face, I put it on my hands, all over my body. And you know what? I even drink saffron. They have beautiful saffron little pearls that you can put in a hot cup of tea, and it's high in vitamins and minerals, folic acid, selenium. It's antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory. And did you know that saffron actually increases the serotonin in your body? That's right, the happy hormone. So if you got seasonal affective disorder, anxiety, depression, this can really help you. I love all their products. The saffron stuff is one of my favorite. It also comes in a mist for your face. It's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. And the company is conscious. It's exactly aligned with my values, your values if you subscribe to my show. Protecting the planet, respecting the planet, organic, regenerative, heart-based. I love it so much. If you want to find out more, check out episode 121, where I have a beautiful discussion with Hannah Marabani, who's the founder. You can go to my website under recommended products, look for Sebe and Solus, and use the coupon code FITAMYTV10 at checkout. That's FITAMYTV10 at checkout to save 10%. Enjoy. One of the things that struck me when I first met you was all these amazing, for you to just to accomplish what you just mentioned of your own personal struggles with cancer, obesity, all these other issues that you had, it is incredible. But to me, what struck me was your mental practices and how you really did certain things that helped control your thoughts and your mind to program yourself. Do you want to share with us maybe an update on that? Is there anything that you're currently doing now, or things that you have found help people, or that are, that, yeah, I know you do private coaching and stuff. Like, what are some of the things that people could do? Because as you know, the battle is of the mind right now. We're in information wars right now of what to believe and what not to believe. And so what are some of the tools that you think might help people?
Yeah. Well, I think that poetry, music, and art were vital tools and me helping to develop my own intuition. And I think intuition is just the first phase of actually opening your heart on a deeper level. And so I believe those three tools were used to help open intuition, and that intuition and those tools also helped through also interpersonal relationships with family and friends for me to unfold my heart in a deep way. And having that open heart and that sensitivity and that compassion, I think helped me learn to know myself on a deep level. Like, I know that I have a lot of friends that if someone says a critique against them, or someone makes a statement to them that's from their opinion or a projection, it can be really effective to their psyche, where they start coming in contemplation to themselves. And I think that one of the things that I really pride myself on is that I know myself, and that no matter what anyone says, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. And if they tell me it's impossible or it's never going to happen, I'm like, watch this, I'm, I'm still,
Excuse
I'm
me, can you get out
still,
of my way? I'm making it happen.
yeah, yeah. And so I think that those are all products of opening my heart and getting to know myself in a truly powerful way. But I think the first step that what I'm trying to help people with, and honestly, just for me to stay flexible and to stay in a state of growth with that, for myself even, is just constantly being aware of things in your environment as an observer, perceiving them without an attachment to them.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, there's a lot of things happening in the World Economic Forum and around the world right now where you could get really pulled into this darker viewpoint or darker timeline. But it's neat to be an observer and say, huh, that's really interesting, right? But also to start making informed decisions based off of these observations. And that can be world, political events. It could be things within your family and friends structure or workplace environment. It could be things in you observing your life and saying, at this age, I wish I was here. Why am I not here? And what are some of the things that I can do about that? And so these reflections, or these observations, I feel like bring back the information to you. And then sitting in counsel with, whether you believe that to be spirit guides or angels or whatever, inside of these meditative experiences, because I truly believe with frequency minded music, you're having a spiritual experience connecting you to your environments and connecting you to source energy. And so in doing that, I feel like you're setting in a really powerful opportunity to create change in your world. And you can do that through imagination, through visualization. You can do that through spoken word, speaking it out loud. You can do it from speaking to this and before bed, and speaking into it as soon as you wake in the morning. And so these processes of manifestation have always been really fascinating to me. And I think it's really interesting. Like, I'll say to people say, well, you're not a millionaire, or you're not this. And, and I'm like, but you're viewing abundance as only financial gain.
Yes.
And I said, I survived being homeless. I survived, being extremely overweight and cancer. And I survived being dyslexic. And I've created an environment and a company where I get to say yes and no to what I get to do every single day. And there's a power and an authority in that. No matter if this is all I get, I have come so far, and I'm so grateful for the manifestations and for this process. that I'm just in gratitude, and I'm excited for the things have my eye on in the future. But it's really important that all of our past and our existence, that we don't get caught up in judging what other people are doing or what other people are saying about us, because they simply don't know you. They don't, and if you get into the past life story, like the multitudes of lifetimes that we've lived, like in this lifetime, this may be exactly what I'm here to do. And I'm not meant to be a millionaire or billionaire, or maybe I am. Maybe that's in the future. But the point is that we get real caught up in like who has what they're doing, what are we doing, judging our lives on what other people are doing. And I think that it's just real important that these practices, really, you keep your head down on your own mat, like they'll say in yoga,
Yep.
and you really focus on what your mission is and what you're here to do, and you stop worrying about what other people are doing, what age they are, this, that, and the other, and just realize like you've been here lifetimes, and that there is something in this process for you to gain for the evolution of your soul.
I love that. And because what I'm hearing you say is, it's all about the benchmarks of what you're using to measure success. And, those outward signs of someone you think has it all, One of my favorite quotes is by Abraham Hicks, that you can define success by the amount of joy you feel. So, just to your point, if someone's got a lot of money or a great job or they're famous or whatever, but how much joy do they feel on a daily basis? Joy, not even happiness. Joy is a whole nother frequency than happiness,
Yeah.
And for your point, I'm with you with the freedom. That you can't put a price tag on feeling free, like
Yeah.
that you are in control of not only your life, a little bit your schedule. I mean, all of us have responsibilities, but
Yeah.
yeah, you
Mhm.
know how that is. But that you feel like you have some power over your some sovereignty. And for
Yeah.
me, with what's going on in the world right now, that's one of where I'm gonna die on that hill, is fighting for personal sovereignty, that we have a right to choose how we want to live our lives and what we want to put in our own bodies, and whatever, and where we live, and all those things that our soul should have sovereignty, I guess is what I'm saying. And we shouldn't have
Yes.
certainly a government or people with their own ulterior motives telling us what to do. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Power to
yeah.
the people.
Yeah, there you go. Power to the people, my friend. Amazing. Well, obviously we could talk all day.
Mhm.
I love how, you're a growth-minded person, which I think is why I resonate with you so much. It's such an important quality for me as well. And I never know what you guys are expanding to next. You seem to just be exponentially growing. I'm excited to be walking the path with you. I feel like you're going to come on the show again, maybe in another year or two, and see what you have next. Um, but before you tell people how they can find you and all your beautiful work to experience this healing modality for themselves, is there any final thoughts or anything to make you feel complete today that you want to share?
I think just in the coming future, podcasts and shows like this are going to be where we get a lot of our connectivity and information that I believe is so crucial below the mainstream narrative. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the people that are supporting you and your show and the work you're doing, but also
Yeah.
that it's just an honor to be paired with you and to be able to have this time and conversation. So I'm just saying thank you so much for having me.
That is so sweet. Thank you so much. It really is awfully sweet. I will receive that, and it means a lot to me because, like I always say at the end of the show, I mean, this show, to be honest, this show cost me a lot of money to do, and this is an offering that I do for people for free. I don't get paid for doing this, and not only does it cost money to have production and promotion and all that stuff, but it's a lot of time to prepare for shows and all that jazz. So it's not that I'm complaining, but what I'm trying to say is that I appreciate the people that support the show, subscribe, share the show, leave a review. These are all ways you can support me. Check out the products on my website, because usually the people get a discount, so they win. I sometimes get a small commission, so I win. And then, of course, the product that's on the site wins because they get exposed to new people. So it's a win-win-win, which I love. That's really what I'm all about, is just, creating stuff together and everyone benefiting. So thank you, Ian. Those words are very much appreciated and received. If you want to find out more about Ian and his company, Listening to Smile, which, by the way, is called Listening to Smile because when he first started out, all the people listening to his music, his frequency-minded music, were smiling in spite of themselves. So they just named the company that, which is perfect, and you'll see why when you experience it. But if you please check out the show notes, and we have links in the show notes where you can go to my website to check out the albums and save 30% with Fit Amy TV coupon. You can also scroll down a little bit further on that site, on my website, and see where it says check out the annual membership. You save $100 off the annual membership. I'm a member. You might see me in some of the calls. I love it. It's a holistic program for sure. I love it. Ian Morris, Listening to Smile. Everybody check it out. Show notes. Share the show. Oh my gosh, I'd be forever indebted. And it's the best way to support me is to leave a review. Share it with a friend. Thank you so much, Ian. I'll look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody. See you next time. Would you like to support my mission to help empower people all over the world to be all of who they truly are? If so, please subscribe to the show, leave a review on iTunes, and share it with a friend. And if you're looking to take immediate action to align your energy and optimize your health, visit amyfournier.com. Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite. Let's awaken her together in you. I'm your hostess, Amy Fournier, and I already can't wait to be with you again and for you to hear what I have planned for the next show.
Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. To learn more about Amy, check out her website, amyfournier.com. That's AMYFOURNIER.com. You can also check out Amy's live and on-demand virtual fitness and yoga classes, and sign up for her newsletter to receive a free mini ebook of 3 of her top tips for making holistic health a lifestyle. Again, that's amyfournier.com, and get your ebook sent to your email immediately. Connect with Amy on the daily on Instagram at FitAmyTV, FITAMYTV, and watch many of the podcast episodes and subtopic clips on her YouTube channel, which is also Fit Amy TV. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.